Alabama fans, what's going on? It's Kyle Henderson of BamaInsider.com. For the third time in 4 years, Nick Saban is turning to the NFL to find someone to run his offense. According to reports, Alabama is set to hire former Houston Texans and Penn State football coach Bill O'Brien as its next offensive coordinator. O'Brien will take over for Broyles Award winner Steve Sarkisian, who accepted the head football coaching job at Texas following the Rose Bowl. O'Brien was fired by the Texans in October after leading the team to a 0-4 start. Before his dismissal, he spent 6 full seasons as the head coach with the organization, winning the AFC South 4 times. Prior to that, O'Brien spent 2 seasons as the head football coach at Penn State. He earned the Paul Bear Bryant Award and the Maxwell Coach of the Year Award in 2012, despite a 0-2 start in NCAA sanctions. O'Brien also spent 5 seasons with the New England Patriots from 2007 to 2011, where he worked under Saban's close friend, Bill Belichick. O'Brien served as the Patriots' offensive coordinator in 2007. He also coached the quarterbacks in 2009 and 2010 after coaching running backs in 2008. The 51-year-old also has offensive coordinator experience at the college level, leading Georgia Tech's offense from 2001 to 2002 and Duke's offense from 2005 to 2006. O'Brien will take over an Alabama offense that was ranked in the top 5 in scoring, 48.5 points a game, total offense 541 yards per game, and passing 352 yards per game. However, he'll likely be missing several components from that group, including Heisman Trophy winner Devontae Smith, the Davey O'Brien Award winner Mac Jones, and the Doak Walker Award winner Najee Harris, as well as the majority of Alabama's offensive line that earned the Joe Moore Award. During O'Brien's last full season in charge of the Houston Texans, the Texans ranked 13th in the NFL in total offense, averaging 362 yards per game. Before the 2020 season, he handed the play calling duties over to offensive coordinator Tim Kelly after taking on a general manager role in the addition to his head coaching job. Over the past 4 seasons, O'Brien has coached dual threat quarterback Deshaun Watson. O'Brien helped Watson develop into one of the top quarterbacks in the NFL as a former Clemson star, led the NFL with 4,800 yards passing en route to his 3rd Pro Bowl season. Alabama will hope he has that similar effect on Bryce Young, Paul Tyson, whoever's going to be the quarterback going into the 21 season as Alabama looks to reload its offense for another national title run. Okay, so now that we've talked about Bill O'Brien, let's talk about kind of the impact analysis of Bill O'Brien being at Alabama. Okay, first of all, at least in my opinion, it's going to be hard to replace Steve Sarkisian. I think that coaches get to a certain point during the season, during the career, that they're just at the top of their game. And I feel that is where Steve Sarkisian was. Now, Steve Sarkisian called pretty much a perfect game in the national championship against Ohio State. I loved his methodical approach all season long of moving the football down the field. Mac Jones, Najee Harris, Devontae Smith, those 3 flourished in this offense behind a fantastic offensive line. Bill O'Brien is inheriting a loaded offense, right? Not as loaded as Steve Sarkisian did, but there's still plenty of components to work with. You got a 5-star quarterback coming in. You got a quarterback by the name of Paul Tyson, who nobody is talking about. Big pro-style quarterback. You have John Mechie returning. You have Jaleel Billingsley. You have the number 1 rated recruiting class in the country that includes the Great Wall of Alabama, right? Tommy, James Brockemeyer, Terrence Ferguson, J.C. Latham, all those guys young in the pipes. And potentially you got maybe Chris Owens, who could come back for 2021. You got Kendall Randolph, who played a lot during the 2020 season. And then you also have Evan Neal, Alabama's next NFL offensive lineman. You also got Tommy Brown. You got Javon Cohen. You got plenty of guys kind of up in the mix that are coming. Darian Dalcourt, Pierce Quick, plenty of linemen to choose from, right? I think when Bill O'Brien gets to Alabama, expectations are clearly going to be high, and they're probably going to be unrealistic. Look, Alabama, as mentioned, lost a ton of talent. It's a game where you got to put a ton of points on the board. And this particular season, because it was an SEC schedule, Nick Saban didn't play a lot of that second-tier team that we've seen in the past, right? It's just SEC play. There's not a lot of room for error. So you didn't see a ton of reps from Bryce Young. You didn't see a lot of these younger guys get a lot of reps, and I'm curious to see how they rebound from that. And I think how they rebound from that is simply going into spring ball and getting the repetitions that they need. For example, Bryce Young, who was the number 2 quarterback this season for Alabama, guess how many attempts that he had? Mac Jones had 402 attempts in 13 games. Bryce Young had just 22. Not a lot of experience coming back. You do return John Mechie, right, who had 916 yards. And as we've talked about before, the offense could be led by running back Brian Robinson should he return to this 2021 season. Now, if he doesn't return, the leading rusher on this team was a freshman in 2020 by the name of Jace McClellan. He had 245 yards. Is he going to be the next guy? Is Alabama going to turn to, kind of a combination of running backs? You also have Roydell Williams. We don't know the health status on Trey Sanders, and we don't know if Kellen Robinson's going to come back. And right now, at this point, on January 13th, we don't even know if Kamar Wheaton is going to officially sign with Alabama, right? He still has until early February to sign. He's the only prospect that hasn't signed. So, the offensive components are there. We need to look at which wide receivers are going to step up. You're losing Devontae Smith, who caught for 117 receptions, which is just ridiculous. And then you have John Mechie, right, who's returning. But the third leading receiver for Alabama was Najee Harris, who had 43 receptions. After that, it was Jalen Waddle. You got to think Waddle's gone. So now you look to Slade Bolden. He was after Najee Harris and Jalen Waddle, you had Slade Bolden, who had 24 receptions. Is it going to be, Xavier Williams, who we saw start to come in late in the season? Is it going to be Javon Baker? Or maybe it's going to be a younger guy by the name of Dow Jones-Bell, maybe Trayshawn Holden, or any of these other receivers that are going to come in, right? JoJo Earl, Christian Leary, Ja'Cory Brooks, Ajay Hall. Plenty of guys to choose from. But like I'm saying, the offensive expectations are going to be really high for Bill O'Brien because over the last several years, Alabama has put points on the board at will. I think Nick Saban going to the NFL tells me this. He's not trying to do what the rest of college football is doing. He's trying to do something that is next level. What is the NFL doing? Bringing in an offensive mind from the NFL that has college coaching experience, that has head coaching experience. Look, you got to go big time when you're Alabama, and you can't do what everybody else is doing. So when you kind of look at the landscape and kind of the coaching candidates, Bill O'Brien fits that guy, fits that mold. And I'll tell you what, if he has Bill Belichick's blessing, if he's been with Bill Belichick, then Nick Saban knows of the quality of coach that he is getting. I know there's a group of people that don't like what he did with the Houston Texans. I don't think you have to necessarily look to that because he's not coming to Alabama to be the head coach. He's not coming to Alabama to be the general manager. He's coming to Alabama to coach the offense. So I think when you look at this hire overall, remember that he's coming to coach the Alabama offense, an offense that is already in place. And Nick Saban has said this many times over. He said that, look, this isn't Mike Locksley's offense. This isn't Brian DeBall's offense. This isn't Steve Sarkisian's offense. This isn't Lane Kiffin's offense. This is the Alabama offense. And the Alabama philosophy, at least in this time of the college football age, is to score a lot of points, a lot of production. Now, I'm curious to see if he has the same schematic approach that Sarkisian did. And that's, mixing it up with a heavy dose of Najee Harris and these short passes to their wide receivers to create a high efficiency for the quarterback. Because Mac Jones was fantastic this year, and a lot of that is because of Steve Sarkisian. Look, it was 77% passing this year. And as you go to a younger quarterback who doesn't have a lot of experience, that's going to be a changing of the guards that is going to, I wouldn't say difficult to work with, but you just don't have a lot of experience, a lot of game experience. But the good thing is you have plenty of time to get ready before 2021 and Alabama's opening kickoff. So you can get Bryce Young up to where he needs to be before this season. Nothing really to worry about. Overall, I'd like to get your take on Alabama hiring Bill O'Brien inside the comment box. What are your questions going into this 2021 season regarding the offense? Which players do you think will step up? And what are your general thoughts about Nick Saban hiring Bill O'Brien as Alabama's next offensive coordinator? Reporting from Tuscaloosa, Alabama, this is Kyle Henderson of BamaInsider.com.